This section of the cemetery and around the corner has a lot of pictures, old black and white pictures on graves. This one's worn off. That's unfortunate. I'll see if I can show some others. Boy, she looks angry. Nice. Here's the water feature. Some old tires. I forget how many thousands of years they say it takes tires to break down, but I don't know if anyone really knows, really. I think there's somebody's trail cam. Look at how smooth the rocks are. Really relaxing sound. It's probably all just runoff from the street. Hey everyone, my name is Paul and this is the Gain Cypress channel, and I figured I'd at least tell you that much if you tuned into the video. I'm just doing this to document, I guess, just life in general. I don't get out of the house very often at all these days. I don't know if anybody else works from home, but it's like I roll out of bed, I turn my computer on, and I'm there for probably 12 hours. This year I've got to do something else to get out and get more exercise. So I'm gonna try to do more videos because, I don't know, it's a nice way to remind yourself that something happened. Especially these days, my memory is not as good as it used to be. So anyway, today's the 27th of December, so I figured I'd get a kickstart on trying to do more and post more videos, get better at talking to people. I do presentations for my job online, and those are very awkward. So I'm hoping maybe this will help. Maybe this will help with some of my social anxiety and things like that. So that's the plan, is at the age of 51 trying to learn how to be a better communicator and talk better, which apparently I'm probably failing at right now. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this. I'm going to take a more of a walk around the cemetery. This is Christ Our Redeemer Cemetery. It's on Cemetery Lane in Ross Township, I believe, and it abuts next to a cemetery, I believe, called Westview Cemetery, that's all Jewish. This is all Catholic, and I come here to walk because they let you walk here and they don't lock the gates, and it's beautiful. And I actually have an uncle that's buried over the hill, so I'll come here. Sometimes I'll visit his grave. I actually get to visit him more than my own family because they're further away. So maybe my dad comes over here to meet me when I meet with his brother. I don't know, but it just works out that way because it's really close to my house. So with that being said, I'm going to keep walking through and maybe we'll see some more old-timey pictures. And I don't mean to be disrespectful when I say that people aren't smiling and stuff. It's just, you know, stating the obvious difference between how pictures were done back then versus how they are now. I think was probably a lot more serious business back then, even like before the 80s and disposable cameras and film and everything else. I think back then you were pretty much going to see somebody that had all that equipment to get your picture taken. So you were in the mood you were in that day. You weren't rescheduling probably. So alright guys, enough of that. Maybe I'll just take another quick spin through and show a few more things and we'll end this thing before it gets too boring. Alright. Well, this will get you some exercise. Oh goodness, I am going to slip. You can't tell, but see these dirt areas? They are very, very slippery because I think when they freeze and then thaw out, it gets pretty slick. It's always a shame to see pieces of headstones and stuff. Oh, again, I hope y'all appreciated the water feature, because I do not want to make it back up this hill. Well, I do want to make it back up the hill. I'm just not sure if I'm going to make it. Look at this. Deer tracks. Okay. We're about halfway up the hill. All right, I'm going to shut this off. When you see me next, I should have my breath back. Look at how dry it is under this stump. See, it's like, I almost feel like you could like hollow that out and sleep under it. Not that I'd want to, but make a little flat area. As long as this doesn't somehow roll. Look at how it turned the dirt red from the tree. Well, this is a shame. This is one of those brass doohickeys that holds the flowers on the graves. I guess that one busted. Okay. I found this quarter on the ground. I didn't realize how much they changed the style of Josh Washington. Maybe this is George Washington's brother Josh, because it doesn't look like the same one. So anyway, I found this just on the edge of the woods. I think I might put it on somebody's grave. Here's another really cool Italian grave. I don't see any Polish people with pictures. It's like the Italians had the aesthetics back at the turn of the century, I guess. They had it all figured out. Oh wow, look at this. Oh, it's a little baby girl. It's her picture. It's a shame the head fell off that just recently. Look at this guy. Ooh. Does he have a mustache, or is that just the way his... I think he had a mustache. Let's see if there's any more over here. Oh, this is one of the ones that it's almost like a locket. Let's take a look. They really took care to dress really nicely, a lot of these folks. Okay. This guy, his wife. So there's another one of those dome ones, but it got crushed. Or something, like a lawnmower or something hit it. See if you can see it at an angle. Father and son there. Sometimes when they're really old, you have to stop and do the math to see, like, if the one person was old enough to be the parent of the other person. This is not readily evident. Oh, here's the chief's grave. Look at this, somebody left feathers. I think if you're in the Pittsburgh area, you should come pay tribute to this grave. I'm gonna put Josh Washington here. I did do a little video on this guy, and I think he's like one of 3 chief whirlwinds that existed in history. And he had to be one of the few Indian burials that's like, you know, a traditional Catholic burial, I think. But nice to see that. Very interesting. I'm sure if you go out west, you see a lot more, like, you know, what do you call it? Not native graves. All the native graves are, unfortunately, many of them weren't marked. So, okay, I'm gonna try to get some more steps in and maybe do a round robin. I'll come here sometimes and do 4 laps, which is almost 10,000 steps. I'm not gonna get that today. I'm so out of shape. But hopefully the weather doesn't stay horrible all winter again, and I can carve out some time. You know, there was a Greek philosopher named Heraclitus, I believe, and he said something to the effect of, a man can't step in the same river twice, because by the time you get back to it a second time, it's completely different. When you think about the flowing water, but life is like a river, and I don't think you ever wake up and step into the same life each morning. It's a little bit different. Even your body's different. Everything's different. And if it feels like you are in the same river, maybe it's time to get out. I guess that is if you're having a tough time or you're not happy. So it just dawned on me that it's not just the river that's different. It's the man that's different too. So that's deep. Very, very deep. All right, we made it to the top of the hill. It's funny that radio towers and cemeteries seem to be the theme on top of hills around here. There's 8 towers over there. Cluster over there, that's where NBC is. That over there, you can't see because I want a GoPro. You might be able to see them. But those over there are CBS. And if you see, I'm going to try to use, I can't. There's like a castle looking building over there. That used to be a convent that they just turned into apartments. And there's a little highway coming up in the cut there. That's McKnight Road. These little rocks here. Me and my wife will come up here and stand on these and watch the sunset sometimes and just kind of look over everything. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful even when the sun's not out, like today. I'm so fascinated by the way they lay these places out and how peaceful they are. It's just nice to come here and be alone sometimes. Collect your thoughts. But like at nighttime, you'll see all the, especially around Halloween time, you have everybody has put solar lights and stuff out all summer. And before it gets super cold and before they do the winter, they do like a winter clean out to get ready for all the Christmas stuff. You'll just see, it almost looks like in some places like a little village. It kind of reminds me of Day of the Dead, and if anyone's a Disney fan and watches that movie Coco, it looks a lot like Coco, especially down here. That's where my uncle's buried, down there. Down this hill, it's like an expansion region. And then over there, that's a Masonic cemetery. Well, we call it a Masonic cemetery because there's a Masonic hall on the other side. And that cemetery is where the founder of the Jehovah's Witnesses are buried. I think his name is Charles Taze Russell or something. Yeah, I think that's his name. Anyway, he used to have a pyramid, like an Egyptian pyramid over his grave. And yes, there were some other issues with it. It was like built over a spring, and they came and they had to drag the pyramid away. But it was like controversial, and people had conspiracy theories and the whole thing about it. But now it's just like a flat kind of plaque with other people's names on it with him. I don't know a lot about that reasoning for, a grave like that, but I'm sure it was just because it looked cool. I think I think most of the things that we look at, like, oh, why did they do that, or why did they do this? Well, maybe it's just because it looked cool, maybe nothing deep and dark about it. But I think we're all just doing our best while we're here to find answers, and maybe we're all wrong about everything. It's a little strip of land, so they keep these little strips, like this was probably farms, and then they left these little strips of land probably just as markers to say, okay, our field ends here and yours begins there. But I always thought this was a interesting little strip of land, because we would always cut through here and we'd call it the portal and say, oh, we're going to go from one side to another. But the people over there that run the cemetery that live in the house, the caretakers, I guess, got irritated that people were walking and jogging in there and not actually visiting graves. So we don't go over there anymore. once people tell me not to go somewhere, I usually abide by that, just because it's not worth the aggravation. I've been there 1,000 times. So we won't be going over there, but I do want to show you the view over here on the other side. It's another place that we like to just come and just vibe. In the fall, this is really nice, all the trees. It's kind of nice living in a region with so many hills, and like so many of the hills in Pittsburgh, I don't think you can actually really build anything on them sometimes because they're just not stable. So in between all of this stuff, all these trees you see, there's actually like valleys with houses and busy roads and businesses. And like if you look out that way, it looks like there's nothing, but on the other side of that, it's just strip malls, and like you can hear the rushing traffic. It sounds a little bit like water, but yeah, it's kind of nice because the hills and the trees hide everything. So anyway, guys, I'm not going to ramble too much. I think I showed you all the key features here. Don't be surprised if you see this more, because this is just the easiest alone walking location that I can find. There's other places, but for some reason this place just really hits the spot for me when I need to come and think about stuff. So thanks for tuning in and taking a little walk with me. I'll try to do this more often. Like I said, I feel like it might be kind of therapeutic a little bit to just come and talk and document things the way they are on a specific day. Somebody else I watch on YouTube just recently passed away, and I mean, the amount of videos the guy had was ridiculous. I think it was something like 5,000, and he did like 5 years of daily videos, just not doing anything fancy, just documenting each day. And now it's funny because like when you're gone, it means more. So I'm hoping to do that here. So even if nobody ever watches this except for my family, I was thinking about my dad because he died. I can say this like this. So my dad died in 2002, and my first daughter was born in 2006, and we didn't have video. Like, I think somebody made a VH cassette tape of my dad, and it's at my mom's house, and I don't even know if they still have it. I'm sure they do, but I think a lot of times about him and how would it be nice for, now I have 3 girls, they're all almost adults now, and well, they are adults, they're young adults, and they'll always be kids to me, but would have been nice that if they had video of him, because he was such a character, such a great person. Wasn't perfect, but had a good sense of humor and stuff. But it would have been nice. Sorry, the rock I'm standing on just shifted, and I have mud all over my shoes. But in a long rambling way, which is what I tend to do, I guess what I'm getting at is I want to like put some videos together, and who knows, maybe I can get 20, 25, hopefully maybe 30 years out of this, and have all of these videos. Geez, even if I did 5 years of one video a week, that would give my grandkids a little bit of information and make them feel like they actually knew who I was. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So grandkids, if you're watching this is for you guys more than anything. And we will I'll see you on the next one, which should be sooner than 6 months to a year from now. So with that being said, this vlog is over. And while it's over, I just want to say I really love all those little white trees. I think they are some kind of a birch tree. Probably not. It's probably not a birch. I'll find out what those white trees are. Actually, if you know what the white trees are, tell me. But God, I love those white trees, especially this time of the year when there's no other color. You get the greens from the pines and the whites from those trees. Anyway, vlog over.